Hey everybody, what's up? I'm Steven, and in a few weeks, WWE will be having their Survivor Series pay-per-view for 2019. This year is going to be featuring Raw versus SmackDown versus NXT. They've already announced a few matches. As of me recording this video, they have a triple threat women's champions match. Shayna Baszler, Bayley, and Becky Lynch. And they have all three of the tag teams fighting each other. As of right now, they haven't really announced how the traditional 5-on-5 match is going to take place. I don't know if it's going to be 5-on-5-on-5 elimination match, which would probably take all night. But if they do end up doing that, I have decided that this video is going to be about who I think will represent NXT, who will be a part of Team NXT in this traditional 5-on-5 match if they do all three. So I'm going to start with the leader, who I think will be basically appointed the leader of the team. I think it's going to be Tommaso Ciampa, because I feel like that'd be the best choice there, because he is like the ruthless guy who's defending NXT's honor. We saw him come invade SmackDown. He was like one of the main people that invaded SmackDown a couple weeks ago, and actually last week I guess it was. And he just feels like that leader type that would want to defend the honor of NXT and everything. And he's going to be leading a team in the War Games the night before at NXT TakeOver. So I feel he'd be the best option for that. He's the former NXT champion. One of the best guys they have on the roster. So just having him on the team is a big asset for NXT, I think. And I'd like to see him square off against guys like, I don't know, whoever ends up being on the teams, like Seth Rollins, Roman Reigns, whoever. Just Tommaso Ciampa in there with one of them makes it feel pretty big time for him on the main roster. Now, coming off of that, if he was appointed the team captain, I feel like he would, two of the people he would select are the two of the guys he's been kind of teaming up with in recent weeks, and they're two of the guys that will be on his team in NXT TakeOver War Games against the Undisputed Era. I'm talking about Keith Lee and Matt Riddle. I think they would be beneficial to Team NXT because Keith Lee is like the big muscle guy, but he can also do high flying stuff. I love Keith Lee. I don't know. He's really, really talented in the ring, I guess. He's like a young Mark Henry, I guess, but he would be really good on the team, and seeing him square off even against like Roman Reigns, or if they put like Braun Strowman on the team or something on Team SmackDown or whatever, just seeing him in the ring with one of them. And Matt Riddle was more of the, like in the ring. He's really good in the ring too. He has a good move set and everything else. I'd see him against like, I don't know, anybody else on the roster, The Miz, whatever. Like Matt Riddle's in the ring with one of them. So Keith Lee and Matt Riddle I feel like would be good on the team as well, and they might actually help them. Just having Ciampa, Keith Lee, and Matt Riddle might be a good enough tag team right there, because those three guys would tear into Raw and SmackDown. There's like really nobody on those rosters that could compare to Ciampa and Lee and Riddle. I feel like maybe a couple, but like Seth Rollins and Roman Reigns and stuff. But other than that, I don't think you could really. I don't think the WWE talent right now could measure up to the NXT talent. But I guess we'll find out at Survivor Series. Now, for the fourth person selected to the team, this one, the fourth and fifth person I had trouble deciding on, because there's just so much talent on the NXT roster. I couldn't choose just one person. Like, I wanted to almost have this as like a tie type of thing. I did that with number 5. I had a mix between two different people, but I'll get to that. But the fourth person I think should be on the team is Pete Dunne. Because we've seen what he can do. He was in NXT UK for a while, and then they moved him to the main roster, to the main NXT roster, and now he's been in rivalries with like Damian Priest, and I think he once had he was in a rivalry with Roderick Strong at one point, but that was like a year ago or something. But I feel like he is unexpectedly, like, he's one of the strongest on the roster, I think, because not only is he he calls himself the bruiserweight, so I guess he's more like a cruiserweight, but he can he's got like that strong style kind of mentality where he'll like rip into you. He does submission holds and everything else. And I'd love to see like somebody like Seth Rollins tap out to him or something. It just, and that finger pull thing he does where he just like rips your fingers off. I mean, that just looks insane. I'd like to see that compared to someone else's like submission, or see somebody major tap out to that at Survivor Series. That would be like a big upset too, I feel like. And just seeing all these guys in the ring with these main roster people, I think this is going to be a good show. I feel like NXT's probably not going to win, but I still wanted to predict what team they're going to be anyways. Because I don't think the main roster, they're going to have the main roster people lose. I don't know. That's why this is a prediction. But now we're going to get into the final spot. I had trouble choosing this one as well because these are both former, or I guess they're current rivals of Pete Dunne. I decided on either Damian Priest, who's basically only just recently come into NXT, and then Killian Dane, who has been running rampant all over the place. He's like the big he would be, if not Keith Lee, Killian Dane would be the big muscle of the group. He was formerly Insanity, if you remember. Who knows where that group went. But he would be like the monster powerhouse that they need that could compare with the likes of, compete with like Braun Strowman if he was on the Team SmackDown, or if they do like a Team WWE versus Team NXT thing. He would be the muscle that could tear through everyone on the other side of the ropes and everything. Or Damian Priest is more like I feel like he's almost like I don't know, I want to say like Shinsuke Nakamura kind of person. He's taller than Shinsuke and he's tougher than Shinsuke, but the way he moves in the ring kind of reminds me of Shinsuke. I don't really know much about Damian Priest, so someone else could probably know more about him, but the reason I feel like pairing these two up with Pete Dunne in this sense is just because I feel like sometimes rivals they have done this before, like they'll have rivals come together on Team Raw or Team SmackDown to take on the opposite team, like when Triple H and Kurt Angle were on Team Raw a few years ago, and then Triple H turned on Kurt Angle and it cost him. We could see that, or we could just see they team up for the greater cause of NXT beating the main roster people. But originally these two spots were going to be, I was going to have Finn Balor and Johnny Gargano, but the only problem with that is, for one thing, they're probably going to have Finn Balor versus Johnny Gargano at NXT TakeOver. But I don't think they would put Finn Balor, at least, on Team NXT at Survivor Series, because it would basically be like he was back on the main roster. He'd be taking on most of the guys we've seen him fight before, like Seth Rollins and Roman Reigns, AJ Styles if he's on there, whatever. So I don't think they would do that necessarily. I mean, they could put Johnny Gargano on the team, but why have him and not have Finn Balor in there, or Finn Balor gets involved and costs Team NXT? They could do that too, but I feel the better choices in this scenario, I guess, would be Pete Dunne and either Damian Priest or Killian Dane. So those are my predictions for who Team NXT will be at Survivor Series. Let us know what you guys thought down in the comments, or who you think will be on the team when we roll into Survivor Series. I'm really looking forward to the show as well because it's just going to be unique this year. I just wish they would do something more with it, like have a stipulation where the members of the winning teams get a #1 contenders match for the main title or something. But either way, it's still going to be a really good show, and I'm looking forward to it. Thank you all for watching, and take care, everybody.